Alright, so I wanted to do an update to my ground reaction forces video that I did before. In this video I want to include more visuals, more feelings and understandings of how to use your feet, how to use the ground better to get the most out of your swing. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Alright, thanks a lot for checking out my video. If you haven't yet already, please subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell to get notified whenever I drop any new videos. Alright, so today I really wanted to update my last ground reaction forces video, just with some tools and some different visualizations, some feelings that can help you, things you can do at home that can help you understand how to use your feet and your legs better in the golf swing, because it's not the easiest subject to learn. So, a couple tools that I have. These black discs are sliders. These are just some slippery discs that you can get on Amazon. They're just fitness discs. And then the orange and yellow half balls things here I have are the force pedals. You can get those online as well. So let's get into it. First thing, right off the bat, when I want to go and get this bit of a shift into my trail side here, getting my pressure shifted over and starting to load in my trail side, I want to be obviously getting the sense of pushing my foot, my lead foot, in that direction. That's what we're going to need to have to make our body physically move over to our trail side. I'm not saying I want us to sway, it's just a very mild amount of this press with this lead foot to go and shift this pressure, starting to shift it over to the trail side, the trail foot. Okay. There's different methods out there where you might want to be feeling like you're more kind of stacked on your front side. That's up for you to decide what you'd like to do. But in my personal opinion, I'd like to get the weight and the body kind of shifted over a bit more over the trail side, so we have that power for rotation and speed in the downswing. So after we've got that sensation of learning to use that lead foot to kind of push in that direction to start building pressure over here and force into the trail side, I got this force pedal kind of under the middle of my foot, a good spot for most golfers, just to understand that we don't want to be getting the pressure too far to our toes in the backswing, nor too far to the heels. So just kind of a middle ground is a good place to start here. So getting that pressure, feeling a push through the middle of that foot, down into the ground in the backswing. What we'll notice there as I do that is I'm shifting my weight to my trail side, my right side. I'm pushing into that ball. You'll notice that my trail leg is starting to straighten a little bit. That's giving me some leverage here so that now in the downswing I can learn how to kind of get back into the ground and use that for more speed and power. Whereas if we just keep our knees bent and we don't squish that ball in the backswing, well, now that's when people just start the downswing by jumping. Okay? They don't have any leverage. They're not up here to start getting down to use the ground dynamically in the downswing, which is where we want it. I don't need to be dynamic and ready to go and jump here in the backswing. I can't turn anymore, which is going to limit a lot of speed, and I'm most likely going to jump too early. Okay? So I get that press over to my trail side, pushing through the middle of that foot, extending that trail side. Okay? Now is where I really want to start talking about some things that players often have trouble with. And that is sequencing the downswing and how this trail leg and trail foot work in ground reaction forces. So as we are starting to learn how to do the downswing here, there's three main things that we want to have. One, there's a lateral shift where our body is moving towards the target. There's a rotational motion. And there's a vertical motion where we're going to learn to kind of get some pressure pushing, some force pushing down into our lead foot. So talking about this lateral motion first, I got the slider disc under my trail foot here. As I go to the top of the swing, I want to learn how to push this disc out in this direction. Because once I get off of something that is slippery, then what that's going to do is I go and push that in that direction, that's going to help me start moving in this direction. Okay, as I push that way with that foot, and this is why it's a good tool just to learn how to use this, just as a visual to be like, okay, I want to go and push in this direction. Once I get rid of that kind of ice feel where I'm on ice, that push-in motion is now allowing me to get my body moving laterally this way, okay? Now, the second is rotation. How is this trail foot, this trail leg even responsible for rotation? And a lot of people don't know or don't even think about it, but it does do a lot, okay? As we're starting the downswing, I want, with this lateral, this push this way, I want to get this rotation happening in this trail foot, okay? This is called torquing. So I'm pushing, applying a force, and I'm rotating that foot. This foot, when it's off of that slippery surface and I'm trying to twist my foot that way, is kind of like a springboard. That action there is a springboard to push my hip around the corner this way, as opposed to that foot not doing anything and someone just trying to spin their hips. This foot pressing down and getting this rotational motion happening there in that trail foot really helps us explode with rotation through the shot. Most of the time, people don't have any idea what this torquing motion is, and then they lack in rotation. This is another really great way to pick up body rotation in the downswing, okay? So, we're up here, we get this shift over to the trail side. Now we're starting to learn to push this way, add this feeling of rotation. If we kind of look from this direction, adding this rotational motion to that trail foot, and that's helping us start to get this rotation in the downswing. Now, as we're doing this, you'll notice, as I'm starting the downswing, you're going to notice that my knees, the distance here, are actually starting to widen a little bit, okay? And the whole point of that, the whole reason is because as you're starting the downswing, I'm pushing in the ground this direction, as I've showed on the slider there, at the same time as this front leg is starting to open up. This front knee, this front hip is starting to rotate as I'm pushing down into the ground this way, right? And that action there is causing this visual of these knees starting to widen, okay? And then that allows us to kind of push off of to go through. So a lot of times people just see players like, why are they widening their knees? Well, there's a reason for it. This kind of pushing method in this direction, motion, and then this opening and rotation out of this front side. Okay, so we're up here. We're starting to now push, get some rotation, get this lead side over. Now we want to start learning how to use this front foot to finish off the rotation in the swing. So I got this force pedal under the ball of my lead foot. I'm up here, I'm pushing laterally, getting rotation. At the same time, I'm now starting to go and squish that force pedal under the ball of the lead foot. The reason is now I have some pressure built, so I can use that to push off of to finish and clear my lead hip out of the way. So, ball of the lead foot, up here to the top. I want to get the sensation of getting this lead knee to rotate as I am pushing down into that force pedal. Now we can see that my hips are slightly kind of open to the target at this stage of the swing. Now I'm going to start to apply a force, a push off of that front foot to kind of get my hip to be working back on an angle to clear that out of the way so that now this trail side can come through and finish it off. Okay? So a really good drill sensation to learn how to use this force pedal really good is that as I'm coming, I'll do it from this side, as I'm coming and applying a force down into this lead foot, I can go and I want to start learning to push off that and rotate. Okay, so I'm going down, pushing off and rotate. So a really good drill to learn how to be explosive in this push off of this lead side. If you just go and be like, okay, I'm going to apply a little force, you just kind of do it casually, then there's a good chance it's not going to translate into your golf swing. We want more push off and more power. And you'll notice how when I'm doing this, I'm not just pushing straight backwards. My hip doesn't just go straight back. I'm trying to make it push back and on an angle. The reason is because I'm using this trail side to move my body laterally. So if I'm moving my body laterally like a car, if I'm going this direction, I better have something stop it, right? So I'm just going like this. I need to kind of get this sensation of getting this hip to rotate and go back while this right side kind of finishes through, right? Because that body's rotating while moving laterally. And that's why this action of learning how to get this left or the lead side kind of out of the way is a really good drill there as that trail side comes through. Okay, so let's kind of put this all together into a golf swing. Getting this little bit of a push to this trail side. Now I'm starting to feel the sense of forcefully pushing down into the ground, which gets extension, straightening into that trail side. Now starting down, we'll notice that my right knee starting to reflex, starting to bend again. My lead knee is starting to open up towards the target as I'm getting that pressure going down into the ball of that foot. Once I'm here, I'm now going to start pushing off that at the same time as this trail side still moving all the way through to the target. Okay. All right, so thanks again for checking out my video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If I can ever help you with your game, please reach out. You can find me on the Skillest app where I've done over 1,000 lessons with players around the world. All right, so until next time, keep working those ground reaction forces, get some tools that you can use at home, and let's make it a great 2022.